What we need to first understand where is the problem coming from, or how are these plastics entering into the surface water bodies. One, as at household level or at business level, we're not managing the plastics well. Like someone after drinking water or drinking a soda or maybe a plastic bag, you just throw, you don't know where it ends. You throw maybe in your compound, you throw along the road. So this one, maybe through runoff, surface runoff, when it rains, all these plastics, you see them collecting in the public drains and ending up into the surface water bodies. We have some cases where people who are managing waste, for example, transport waste and dump them close to the shore or in a wetland.
Hizi mabuteye zikuwa mabuteye meni maflotere za kubutimba. Ona donge sasa tunasekaka ndio tunafunga kile nani ile flotere kuinani kuibutimba.
Ni kweli zina flotte jusqu'au bord. Alors hatuyakuwa na systeme yenye inafanya récupération yazo mkadri ya kuzievacuer mpaka pale donge zina traîner à la plage, hazia kuwa amweke itoke na ilikuwa ingali ya bon état kusudi inaweza kuwa réutiliser. Mais zenye ziko avant de destruction hatuyakuwa na mécanisme ya kuzirecuperer kusudi tuzibebe kubele.
Obu bufloto obu katinga obu abana nyino bawo bananyino butimba bavubamu babujeko nga wala tebikyakola bulungi buyingiza amazi kubanga bagenze eri mu nyanja kati bagenda kuleta obulala bateekako obupya obukadiye kati obwo buyambako kati basibaka kacupa waggulu kataka kabeeramu omuntu ngangeri ya musenyu ne mutwala katimba wansi kata katimba ne kabeera nga kayanjudde bulungi mu mazzi kasobole okukwata ekyennyanja.
Omuntu wagulira katimba ako akozesa obutimba busatu ng'abuguza emitwalo 10. Katimba kabanga emitwalo 3 kitundu. Okiraba ndowooza. Kakati ate omuntu omu agenda okugula obutimba buli obunene bwe nkugambye kati gavumenti bweyagala okukola eryato ekitone nnyo obeera mu miliyoni ga 10. Kubanga ekitone nnyo nyine ekozeeko egula miliyoni 3 n'ekitundu 4. Obutimba bwennyini bukwetagisa miliyoni nga 4. Bugattako eryato kalyato okulima liba miliyoni 3. So miliyoni 10 zenkugamba. Ataba tasobola. Ate wanakozesezza emitwalo 10. N'asala wakozesa envubu embi asobole okubeerawo. Kati kibadde kireeta ekyo.
There's a significant correlation between urban development and plastic pollution. So all those landing sites, if you go there, the first stuff you can see at the shores are a lot of plastics either floating on water or close to the water, which end up into the surface water body and contribute to the plastic pollutants in the water.
Our brand audits have been exposing these companies for the last 2 to 3 years, by the way. We did this jokingly, but we later found out that it can actually communicate our message to these companies. 2021, we found out Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Unilever. We found companies like Bidco, Mukwano, Yaket International, Kiri Bottling. All these companies are polluting our environment with a lot of big amounts of plastic. This year, we have conducted another brand audit, 2022, together with the Break Free from Plastic and a youth organization called Green Africa Youth Organization, GAYO, Uganda. And together we have found out that still big corporations, Pepsi, multinationals like Coca-Cola are still leading in polluting our environment.
PET bottles, they're very easily identified by the manufacturer. depending on who bought a product in them, because they're all labeled. You rarely find one which is not labeled, apart from those which are produced under the garages. So on our side, we are doing an extended producer responsibility scheme, whereby our producer will be responsible for those PET bottles which are disposed of, and therefore they are going to be contributing a certain amount towards the cleaning element of it.
There is the principle in the National Environment Policy that if you are generating plastics, you have an obligation to collect plastics from the environment. And that's why right now, right now many industries right now are handling that as part of the implementation. We're also trying to see how people can get waste from plastics. That's why in many areas you find the youth are being mobilized to collect the plastics, and those who are generating plastics are paying them for any plastic bottle that is got. So we're also trying to make products out of the plastics that are there.
Some studies have already documented some of the impacts of plastic pollutants or microplastics in water on human health. For example, they have been associated with the damage to the cells, human cells, if you are drinking water contaminated with the microplastics. Also, disruption of the immune system of a human being. Also, the damage to the nervous system of a human being if you are taking that water which is contaminated with microplastics. But also the impacts have been reported to extend far to the organisms which are living in the water system. Maybe there could be fish, there could be reptiles, there could be amphibians. For example, fish, it has been associated that when fish consume or they are living in an environment which is contaminated with microplastics, there are several impacts. For example, they retard the growth of the fish. Also, they affect the behavior of the fish. But also, in physical terms, for example, most of the plastics in water, they are floating. So the fish tend to confuse them as food. So they take them up, and which confuses them that if they have eaten food, then at the end they get starved.
Where they drain to the Nile, of course, the Nile, the source of the Nile is Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is a reservoir. So all of these will go to Lake Victoria, then they flow through the Nile, they continue. Now, along the way, we have a number of swamps. Actually, the biggest swamp is in South Sudan. And that swamp is allowing water to flow slowly, and probably most of the plastics will not reach Egypt because of the swamps we have along the way. But of course, we don't have to worry about Egypt alone. By the time they reach South Sudan, what damage will they have? Because even with the Ugandan part.
Every month we have to pick all the bottles, then we put them in the burning kiln. We burn them. Then others, we tell also these people who also are doing another activity like fishing, also to pick the bottles and use them on their own way. That's how we are making the environment clean.
Ate bicupa bino twinemu abaana kabukikarwe bajomba bikoma babisoroza bagenda babitunda kilo negura siringi 10 kilo yebicupa negura 10 hata hariho mukaza kuruga futi neija abigura babisoroza bagenda babimuguza.
Kasulino omuntu gwe twafuna atuyonjera omwalo akeera najja nakuŋŋaanya obucupa nakuŋŋaanya ebiveera kyafu byonna nafuna ne tubiteeka wansi awo n'abipimako omuliro.
kiri nkaito ronda bekulembezi na chairman nkaba kansala funage kiro mu week oba mu mwezi twaba mu bantu sozo kuchipobo nkonto akutere tubaho nambe tukuteka ntubuki
kwa siku zinazokuja. Ujumbe wangu ni kusema kuhusu kulinda vema mazingira. Sisi kama servisi ya mazingira tunajua kama bolbo ziko na uchafu, zinaleta uchafu ndio ndani ya mji, na wakati inakuwa yule wa mai itakuwa naye tu ni moja, kwa sababu zitakuwa zinaweza karibisha mazingira kwa mfano, lakini kwa namna ya kipekee naweza kusema kama inaomba wanaweza endelea kutumikisha system ya zamani ile ya viandaati vyenyewe walikuwa wanatumikisha wakati wanataka pesha zamani, na inaweza kuwa ya muhimu zaidi kuliko kuwa wanatumikisha ndani mabolbo.
The drinks which are packed in plastic bottles, it is very important for the manufacturers to put a system where they can be picked from the end users and replaced back into the system so they can be recyclable in order to keep the environment clean, to conserve the environment and everything like that.
Emigasho yago ni mingi mazima katugakume amizi kani marungi amizi